So, have you watched a lot of my typing videos before? Okay, cool. So, I can actually make it considerably easier sometimes to type somebody because it opens up the lines of questioning. What do you think I'm asking about? Which is revelatory often. So, where do I want to start today? Can you tell me what you think your emotions are most useful for? Are they more useful for just knowing your own boundaries or for knowing your own goals? How how do you feel emotionally right now?
Risk.
Okay. How do you feel physically? Do you have any aches and pains?
Um, but well, besides like the physical symptoms of nervousness, I don't feel anything.
What are the physical symptoms of nervousness?
I'm warm, and my heart is pounding a little bit.
You're warm in your heart. um, so, if somebody, are you more likely to accidentally have somebody else accidentally hurt your feelings, or you accidentally hurt someone else's feelings?
I think I'm more likely to hurt someone else's feelings. Or actually, I think I'm pretty sensitive, so yeah, yeah. I think someone's more likely to accidentally hurt my feelings.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you were to hurt somebody's feelings by accident, would you feel really bad about it, or would you go like, "Well, I didn't mean to hurt their feelings"?
I would feel really bad.
Okay. Do you create in any medium such as writing, drawing, theater, music?
Um, I like to write. I paint sometimes. I used to paint a whole lot more, but then I got tired of cleaning up, so I stopped painting and instead opted for oil pastels, and I draw a lot more now, just so I can avoid the cleanup after.
Or is it difficult to clean up after you paint?
It's not difficult. It's just like when I'm done, I just like when I'm done painting, I just don't want to deal with it anymore. So like sometimes I'll forget to like clean off the palette that I use. And so the paint palette that I do have, it's like there's just layers of dry paint on top of dry paint because I don't wipe it clean, or I don't yeah.
Okay. What kind of media do you most like to consume? Music, books, videos, plays, perform
Um
installation performance art?
vid- videos.
Okay. And do you watch a lot of YouTube or do you watch a lot of Netflix or
Well, I watch hmm, I watch a lot of YouTube. I go through spurts of watching movies. So right now I'm not really watching Netflix, but yeah,
do you watch any anime?
no.
Okay. Um, do you like girly shows? Like about like Love Island or like The Bachelor or what's another girly show like My My 600-pound life, but something that's not quite so ridiculous as that one, but some equivalent, like tiny people, big worlds, or something like that. Do you like that kind of shit? You like girl stuff?
I Okay, so I was at a friend's house the other day and she turned on Love Island. And so I wouldn't say that I would turn on Love Island myself, but it was a captivating program. So yeah, I liked Love Island, but it's
The,
not something I would turn on.
the only reason I'm familiar with it is because somebody recommended it to Rachel, and she started watching a little bit of it. But then it started making her too mad because I guess they're not necessarily the most fidelity oriented people. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen the show. Okay, if you were going to write a short story or a novel, do you think you'd have an easier time writing the plot or an easier time writing distinct characters?
I would say characters.
Okay. Do you think you'd use, if you were tasked to write a short story or something like that, do you think you'd use your knowledge of cognitive functions in creating the characters?
I've done that.
Oh,
So,
you have? Cool. Did you find it helpful?
yes, yes. I I found that I before I knew about cognitive functions, I kind of was making the characters kind of had they already yeah, yeah, they already kind of like had I don't know how to explain it, but yes, the answer is yes.
Well, I know that when I wrote, when I've written fiction in the past, I've had trouble getting the characters to sound different from each other. They all sound like NTPs, you know?
Uh,
I didn't really. Now, if I were to write fiction, I haven't written fiction since I started doing cognitive function stuff. But if I were, I think I'd apply a lot of cognitive function stuff in writing fiction, and writing characters specifically, because for me, it's easier to write plot than characters. Anyway, so how many uses can you think of for an empty wine bottle?
well, you can hit someone over the head with it. You could draw it. You could like blow into it and make like a little wine bottle band. Um, you could paint on it. You could fill it with something other than wine. You could like use it as the light. You could put like a light bulb in it and make into a little light fixture. Um, hmm.
That's
You could like use it to roll bread. Like what is it called? Like use it as the rolling pin.
uh huh. So what am I testing and what am I thinking when I ask that
Uh,
question?
you're testing any.
How do you think your own any is based on the results you just gave me compared to other people you've seen me type for any questions?
Um, I think it's a little strong.
Yeah, it's pretty robust, right? You're probably first or second slot. Now, granted, that is not enough of an any test to draw that conclusion. But I'm just saying, my gut's telling me that we're looking at any front stack. But let's do some tests to see if my gut is right. Obviously, uh, so can you tell me about? I mean, are you seem American?
Hmm.
What made you want to have a time session at 6 in the morning?
Oh, it's I live in Georgia, so it's 9 here.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Do you are you normally a morning person?
Lately, I've been waking up a little later than usual, which is like 8:30, but usually when I'm on my normal schedule, I wake up around 6:15-ish.
Okay.
But I love mornings.
How
I'm not a
long?
nighttime person at all.
How long after you wake up before you eat your first food?
I wait till I'm hungry.
Okay. So does it take you doing some things first, and then you feel like you want some brunch, maybe, or or is it just a matter of it's a crapshoot? Some days you wake up starving, some days you wake up full.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about a succession of small, insignificant events that occurred between you waking up this morning and beginning this conversation with me?
Okay, so I woke up. I was a little bit tired, so I like went to the bathroom and then I came back and I laid down for a little bit. And then I'm a nanny, so like the kids, they thought that I was awake, so they like popped into the room and I made sure to pretend like I was still sleeping. And then when I was awake, I went back to the bathroom. I put my contacts in, and then I went downstairs. Oh no, I grabbed there's a fridge up here. I grabbed milk and something else, and then I went
Vodka.
downstairs. Perhaps. and then and then I went downstairs, and then I forgot my oatmeal up here and the things I put on top of my oatmeal. So I had to come back
What
upstairs.
things did you put on top of your oatmeal?
I like almonds and what are they called? Coconut shavings on my oatmeal.
Ew.
It's so good.
Coconut
You
is
should try it.
disgusting.
I
If
love
I don't
coconut.
mind the flavor of it, but the pieces of it, it's got this awful texture.
I love texture. It's kind of like I don't know.
You know, for somebody who loves texture, you don't appear to be wearing very textured clothing. You should get really three-dimensional clothing with lots of like bumps and stuff on it.
Oh, I should.
Okay, so your SI, obviously, you're capable of recounting a series of insignificant details of a problem. Let's do the two kinds of association game. I'm gonna give you three words. First, I want you to give me just the classic psychology. First word pops into your mind. Word association. Okay. First word is banana boat.
Ice cream.
Okay. Second word is cellist.
Coachella. I don't know.
Okay. And the third word is Chilean sea bass.
I thought about that logo of the. It's like a. I don't know. I just thought about a logo and there's a fish on it.
Okay, so now can you give me some personal link to each of those terms? So can you remember some time in your life when you had some encounter with the term or an example of banana boat and tell me that story?
I don't have a story. I the I think of there's a movie called Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and they um there's a scene where like they're in a banana boat, like a banana boat, like a boat made of bananas, and they're like going down a stream of like milk or something like that.
Okay, do you remember where you were or the context in which you saw that movie?
I remember a time I watched the movie was we were at a hotel, we were visiting somewhere, and I can't remember if I was watching it on the TV or like one of those old DVD like laptop things. But I was watching it with my brother. And then we used to, I think we saw it in 3D one time, um, because I remember seeing like this is a totally different time, but like we used to watch this movie a lot. But we had the like 3D glasses and we watched it in 3D. And I don't like watching movies in 3D. I just thought about that, but
Does it give you a headache or make you feel like motion sickness or something?
it's like I used to wear glasses, so I would always have to put the 3D glasses beneath my glasses, and it would just be really inconvenient. And then when I took them off, the movie would be kind of like I was cross-eyed, like I was watching the movie cross-eyed.
Did your eyes get better? Is that why you no longer wear glasses?
No, I have contacts now.
Okay. So, how's your relationship with peeing? Do you hold your pee too long? And then until you're about to pop and they go, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom? Or are you more on top of it than that?
I usually when I go to the bathroom, it's like me running to the bathroom.
Okay, so you don't want to get up from what you're doing until you really have to go. Is that kind of thing? You like to play too much, or is it like you just didn't notice?
Yeah, I just didn't know I had to pee until the
Okay.
last minute.
Um, so you say you're a morning person. Have you were you like that as a kid?
Um, I don't recall my sleeping habits as a child, but I'm assuming in high school I didn't like to wake up in the morning, but once I got to school, I wasn't cranky or anything. I don't remember ever being cranky in the morning.
How long does it take you to go from asleep to awake? Is it like you're up and you're ready to go, or don't talk to me for 30 minutes?
I get up pretty fast, but I don't want to engage right away.
Yeah. It's like the only time of that I'm non-responsive to people and don't want to say anything is when I first wake
Yeah.
up. If you come and talk to me, just go. It takes me a long time to wake up.
hmm
Okay, so what makes a song good? Or let me rephrase this. How long does it take you to know, upon listening to a song for the first time, whether it's good or bad?
If I can, I don't listen to the lyrics right away. So I feel like if it's a song that I can listen to without the lyric, like if I took the lyrics away, if it's something that I like, then I probably like the song.
Do you think that whether or not a person listens to the lyrics right away correlates with any kind of cognitive function thing?
Um, I would maybe SE because
I don't have an answer to this really, but I've noted that Rachel listens to the lyrics first, and I'm like you. I listen to the lyrics. Sometimes I'll listen to a song for years, even sort of sing along with it, and not actually process what the lyrics are saying. You know?
yeah, yeah. And then if it's a song that I don't like, then I'll be like I'll be in the car with my mom or something, and I don't she and I don't listen to the same type of music, so then I'm paying more attention to the lyrics because I don't like the song.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Do you? What percentage of the media that you consume? Well, let's stick with just music here. What percentage of the music you consume is songs that you've gathered over the years that you like a lot and you are familiar with, versus what percentage is you checking out new stuff or looking for new songs to like?
I hardly look for new music. It's like the same, it's like a cycle of like listening to music that I listened to when I was like in ninth grade and like 10th grade, or like albums that I discovered years ago, but hardly do I include new music into what I'm listening to.
How open are you to other people suggesting stuff to you?
I like suggestions. Like when I'm at a restaurant, if I've never been there before, I will ask the waitress like, "What's your favorite?" or waiter or waitress, and I'll ask them what their favorite meal is, and I'll like look at it. I won't look too closely at it, but I'll just I'll get it,
Are you
and most of the
are
time it's
you
pretty good.
would you call yourself a non-picky eater or a picky eater?
I find that I like most things. Like when I go to a restaurant, if I'm making any type of modifications to the meal, I'm normally just like adding stuff. I usually don't take things away.
If I visit the city of what's it called, Kyoto in Japan, and I wear even as a tourist, traditional Japanese garb, then I can get a discount in some stores. Okay. I don't wear traditional Chinese garb though when I visit Kyoto. Does that necessarily mean I don't get a discount in the stores?
Well, you could get a discount, but it's not for wearing a Kyoto.
Right, your kimono. But the male
Oh,
one is not called a kimono. The city's called Kyoto. The girl Japanese clothing is called kimono. But the traditional
okay,
male Japanese clothing, I forget what the name for it is.
okay.
All right, that's correct. If if there are seven if there are seven waddle coots in a jangle fist, and three jangle fists equals uh, a Turner movie classic, how many waddle coots are there in a Turner movie classic?
21.
Correct. Who is my mother's father's sister's only sister in relation to me? I
Um,
mean, only brother. Sorry. Who's my mother's father's sister's only brother in relation to me?
your grandfather.
Correct. Um, I have to. I'm sorry to have gotten up here. This cat. I have
You're
to
fine.
feed this cat. Is yelling at me.
Please feed the cat.
Hi, Trouble Bubble. Yes, I hear you. There you go. Delicious cat food for you. It's your favorite kind of cat food. Thank you for your understanding. Um, so, which of the following do you identify with more? Which of the following sentences? I'm not picky. I'm sure we'll be fine, but I'm worried about the Jennings because you know how they get all fussy about shit all the time. Or the Jennings can go fuck themselves. I'm worried about how I'm going to experience this.
The first one.
Okay.
But I'm not. It's like I identify more with the first part of the first one and not so much like I'm worried about the
Right. Yeah, I'm not fussy.
Jennings.
I'm not
Yeah.
fussy, and if somebody else is fussy, I'm not going to worry about that until they actually fuss. At which point, I'll maybe what? Let's say somebody's fussing unnecessarily, like you're at some sort of group activity. Somebody's arrived. They're just complaining about lots of little things that don't need to be complained about. What's your internal response? What's your external response?
Well, depending on what they're fussing about, I might judge them. Um, um, my external response would likely be that uh, I'm really compliant, and I'll try to fix whatever it is that they're fussing about.
The proper response is you go up to me and say, "You suck." Let me ask some more TI questions. So, how do you typically do? Well, let me ask you this: how do you typically do on TI questions if you've seen me? If you've seen me ask them with people before?
Um, I don't do terrible on them, but yeah, I think I do pretty well. Um, yeah.
Okay, you're an interesting case already. I, I normally have a clearer sense by this point of what type of person is, and I've got you as one of four possible types at the moment, which is a lot, right? So,
Okay. a disclaimer. I don't know if you're into Enneagram, but I've been well, I typed myself as an Enneagram 9, so I guess it would mean like I'm just very compliant in general.
No,
I just
when you
don't.
said that earlier, I immediately thought, oh, she's a nine. So yeah, I don't think that was very revelatory about cognitive functions. When you said that, it's
Okay.
like that 891 thing, how you respond to conflict, whether you push back, whether you try to what's the word, appease, or whether you withdraw, is seems to be not really related to cognitive functions at all.
Mhm.
So okay, can you talk to me about? Let me just ask a question open ended first. What do you think the most important values are for yourself to uphold? Probably there's going to be something you think you generally do a great job of upholding. If it's, but what's what at least in part defines you meaningfully in terms of a value that you consistently uphold?
Mm. Okay. I I can think of values, but I'm not sure if I uphold them consistently.
Okay, well, I mean, nobody's perfect, but
Okay.
everybody expects themselves to be perfect at least this. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Um. Well, it's I guess something important for me is that when I do things, I would like to be motivated by passion rather than just doing them for the sake of doing them. So like I don't like to do things, at least things that I have control over. I don't want to do things that don't favor m- my future, or like the thing, something that I want for myself.
So do you find yourself sometimes waiting for inspiration?
Often, like right now, I'm in a really passive stage where I'm just like I don't have anything that I would like to do. Um, so, but I'm not gonna force myself to do something that I don't want to do. At least the things that I have control over.
Okay, let's say you were in a situation where three different people are interested in you as a romantic partner or something like that, and you've spent some time with each of them, and they've all expressed to you all of a sudden on one day, I would like to go steady. Now, what do you talk to me about your thoughts about that situation in general and how you'd process it and stuff like that.
Well, first, I'm not sure that. Uh,
You didn't necessarily ever convey to them any information like I'm interested in you or anything. So
okay.
you could. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've led them on or some way. But you've known each of them. You've gone out for casual encounter at some point, and then each of them shocked the hell out of you today by walking up to you separately on within the span of like 45 minutes each in succession walked up to you and told you this. So what do you?
Mm,
And they said, but you don't respond right now. I've got something to do. And so now you've got some time to think about it where they've all told you this and run away from you. And so there's no pressure to respond in the immediate to them, is what I'm saying.
well, first, I would be really overwhelmed. I would be concerned about um, possibly like hurting two. or three of their feelings, I would, I mean, I guess first I would, like in terms of decision making, I think I would, hmm, I guess evaluate who I could see myself with long term. So that means not only um, how we interact, because I'm sure if these three people are interested in me, it's because that we have a good relationship. But I think then I would kind of look at how they are alone, rather than how we are together. Um,
So you
and
you
then
secretly follow them when you're not when they think they're by themselves and watch them like
no,
that.
but like like um, I don't know. I really don't know. I think I would write about it, um, and like write about what I like about each person, and then if I can, like, if I find myself like creating, like going outside of what's already happened and like creating a story like of our future, like whoever I do that with, like, and it's like the most like whoever I create a more vivid fantasy about, like I think that that would be who is like best for me, or at least like that I would know that's who I like the most.
Okay. So you mentioned inspiration earlier. What do you think is more enabling of you to do something that is something you feel passionate about or whatever in general? Do you think it's more enabling for you to feel a burst of inspiration or more enabling for you to have clarity regarding exact path you're going to take? Like, okay, and now I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do step one, two, three, four. Is that going to be more empowering of you doing, or is a burst of inspiration?
Yes, the burst of inspiration would come first, and even if I know the path I'm going to take, if the inspiration's gone, the path really doesn't mean anything.
Okay. So let's say somebody comes up to you in the street and has and that like while you were walking down the street you were listening to music and you were doing a little dance and they come up and they go, "Oh my God, you are the greatest dancer I've ever seen. I want to be your dance manager and coach. Now, I've got a surefire plan to get you from where you are now to the most famous dancer in the world." And they really pitch you on the idea that they want to manage you, but that you're going to have to do what they say and do it your way. And it's they know how to accomplish this, so you're going to have to follow steps one, two, three, four, or whatever. And they're legit. But so does that sound like something like finally somebody's managing me, or does it sound like oh fuck no?
The first one, I would love that.
Okay, cool. I would love that too.
That sounds so exciting.
Not with dancing though, but
Yeah.
okay. Do you think that truth is created or discovered?
Um, Truth is discovered.
Do you think that the single truth is used more often in bad ways or more often in good ways? In other words, we can think of examples of each. Like a politician might appeal to a singular kind of truth that is reductive. For example, using political rhetoric against immigrants in order to appeal to a certain base of people who have immigration as a big issue for them or something. That would be using NI in what I would consider a bad way because it's using one kind of holistic truth to avoid dealing with a larger, more important truth. But you could also see NI being used in a very good way, like if if uh, if some investigative reporter uncovers the truth about what these people are actually doing and presents it and exposes this crime and the transparency resolves things. So, what I'm asking is, how do you think it's more frequently used in the world?
I think that if I'm understanding your question correctly, I think that the truth is more likely to be used to push an agenda to um, favor one side of an argument rather than um, I don't know, like compromising for the good of everybody.
Okay. So, do you think that justice requires compromise?
I think it requires consideration. I don't think that there's like I don't think the law should be like hard and fast. I think you should consider it from all sides before making a decision.
Okay. Um, look over there for a second. Okay. Name three things you saw.
The shelf, the orange pair of shoes, and uh, um, the green screen.
Okay. That's pretty good workaround to actually giving the answer to like what you see. There isn't an orange pair of shoes. That's a sweatshirt.
Oh,
I
oh,
expected you to note most of all the shell right there, the conch shell, but
oh
or the
no, I didn't
poster
see that.
maybe, the poster of the what's it called, Whispers of the Heart that Rachel put up there. Anyway, okay, so do you feel as though you're more likely to overthink a possibility until the opportunity's gone, or choose the wrong possibility to commit to?
Choose the wrong possibility to commit to.
Okay. I bet that's not true. But I think it's very, very revelatory that you think of that it is.
Why do you think that?
Well, because to me that sounds like Se PoLR.
Okay.
Like you don't, you probably don't recognize, I guess, the way the SE plays out in your own life. Like I was talking to ISTP the other day, and they were talking about their own expert intuition, and they talked about how, well, yes, it's the thing that prevents me from getting it when somebody's flirting with me. Maybe that's FE fourth. Obviously, that's not any. People tend to mistake their polar for something else.
Okay.
Let me ask you the what do you get mad at yourself question. I get mad at myself when I make a mistake, like I'm gonna lift something and move it across the room, but after I pick it up, I realize, oh shit, there's something in the way. I have to put it back down. I have to move the thing out of the way, and then I pick the thing back up. That makes me yell at myself, like, come on, Eric, you idiot, look first. What's an equivalent thing that makes you yell at yourself?
Um, when I lose something, or like when well, at this point in my life, like I kind of just accept that's how I am, but for a long time, um, or like I go through, there's like I'll have a season where like I'm just really, I feel like I can't get it together. This is what I'm always mad at myself for when I can't get it together. It's like the other day I was at Walmart and what did I do? Oh, I was at the self checkout, and so I left my keys at the self checkout. I started walking away. I also forgot the receipt, and I was like, "Oh, the lady at the front's gonna ask for my receipt." So I turned around for the receipt, and then I realized I left the receipt and my keys. But yeah, I do that all the time, and now it's funny. But like, yeah, or like I'll forget to turn on the light, or like I'll be making something, and then I'll be done with it. Like I'll be done making whatever, and then go eat it or something, and then I'll come back later and be like, oh, like I thought I closed this cabinet, or like I just it's like stuff like that. I feel like I'm losing my mind sometimes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. my equivalent is, Rachel and I be ready to go someplace. I'll put my wallet, cigarettes, lighter, phone, man, in my pockets. Walk all the way up to the car and realize I don't have my keys. It's like I put
Yeah.
everything else in my pockets. Why would I not pick up my keys?
Right. Right. And there was also a time where like I had a job. This was like a month ago or so, but like I got a job somewhere and this was the orientation, and before I left the house I saw my ID, but I just thought nothing of it. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I left the house, and then I go to the orientation and they asked for two forms of ID, and I'm like, oh my God, I just saw the ID. Like I just didn't think to pick it up. Um, and then I left. And after I left, I realized I had a like temporary ID sitting in my car, and I could have, yeah,
That you probably put there for that purpose, but then forgot that you'd put it there for that purpose.
yeah.
Okay, so I was just gonna ask. Um, so, uh, do you have like a 5 year plan or something, like a 10 year plan, or like long term goals?
Um, I have a vision of myself being like living in a like a white country style home with a wraparound porch, and like I'm wearing a sundress and I have a family and we have like animals. Um, yeah, we just spend a lot of time together. I have a garden, and that's kind of the goal for me.
You just need to find somebody who's already independently wealthy and retired.
I was like, when I was younger, I would say like I would tell my mom this. It made her so mad. I would say like if I couldn't find a partner, I was gonna find like a really old man to
That's a
just marry.
perfectly reasonable strategy. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that, you know.
I,
If you devote yourself to making him happy for the last couple of years, then that's the deal he's getting into, you know, and that's fine.
yeah. No, I wouldn't do that for sure because I would I want to be in love with the person that I'm with, but
Are you saying
I
it's
would
not
also,
possible to love a very old rich man?
well, I think that my I I think my perception of like the situation would be skewed because do I like him because he's rich, or do I like him because I like him? And that would
I mean,
bother me.
do you actually think that you'd have trouble resolving the answer to that question?
I think I would know it, but for a while I might lie to myself about it, but I would know it.
Okay, I would like to get to say 4 lines of a poem, and I'm going to ask you to basically memorize it and repeat it back to me. And I want to see how many times of me repeating it takes before you got it down. Okay?
Okay.
Here are the 4 lines of the poem. The curious potato man. Let me see if I can remember the 4 lines.
Okay.
Uh, Let me pick a different poem because I can't remember the first 4 lines of it.
Sure.
Okay. Jesus, my SI is failing me. I'm gonna look it up on the interwebs here. Of course, it's not like I'm trying to remember somebody else's poem either.
Uh, I think that would be a little easier.
Maybe. I do kind of remember the first bit of that poem by Robert Frost, where two roads meet in the snowy woods. I kind of
Hmm.
remember. I kind of know that poem. Let's see. Poem. Ah. Oh, this one. So here are the 4 lines. There was a girl named Frances Goss who knew what lived between her teeth, who was obsessed with dental floss, who queried then her brother Keith. I'll repeat
There
it.
was.
Oh, you got it. If you don't, if you got it already, go ahead.
I don't.
All right, second repeat. I figured everybody needs at least 2.
Okay.
There was a girl named Frances Goss who knew what lived between her teeth, who was obsessed with dental floss, who queried then her brother Keith.
There was a girl named something Goss who something between her teeth. Uh, the last one is her brother Keith. I don't have any
Okay, so
idea.
that's good progress. Here's the third read. There was a girl named Frances Goss who knew what lived between her teeth, who was obsessed with dental floss, who queried then her brother Keith.
Okay, there was a girl named Frances Goss who knew what lived between her teeth. She was obsessed with dental floss. She queried then her brother Keith.
Correct. Although each of the first 2 words of the last 2 lines is who, not she. But other than that,
Oh,
correct. That's impressive. That's fast. So that's consistent with third slot SI. I'm for 90% you're an INFP, but I haven't eliminated INTP entirely. You seem kind of FE in some ways, but I'm not good at identifying FI. Do you are you are you uncertain between those 2 types, or tell me now what you thought coming in and so forth?
so I was typed on a Discord server, um, and I was typed as an ESFP, and initially I was like, okay,
No way,
initially,
not even remotely possible.
yeah. So that was okay. So like initially I was like, I get like I don't know, like initially it made sense because I like yoga and I dance a lot. I mean, not professionally or anything, but I just like I just I'm always doing a little dance. But
Yeah, those are terrible ways to type
yeah,
somebody.
yeah, but yeah. So I think that they thought that I was an ESFP because I had just came back from a trip. Yeah, I just came back from a trip and I was talking a lot about that, and so maybe they thought that I was.
So they didn't type you. They
Yeah.
To type you is to seek information from you that's revelatory about your type. They
Mhm.
judged you a type based on
Sure.
their perceptions of how your behavior was indicative of whatever. If they
Yeah.
actually cared about what type you were, they'd have to ask you some questions
Yeah.
instead of just
Yeah.
announcing that you're this and then watching you try to defend yourself or something.
Yeah.
The
They
Discord is a toxic fucking place.
so like they did ask me a lot of questions. Like it's a typing server. So like yeah, it seemed like he was asking a lot of the right questions, but I believe it was lost in translation because like just I don't
He
think it's
didn't ask any TI questions, obviously, or he would have eliminated
yeah.
ESFP as a possibility. You're
Yeah.
clearly
That's
not TI polar.
yeah. That's why I came to you because I was watching Amy Amy's video, and she was an INTJ, but or she thought she was an INTJ, but now she believes she's an ESFP. And I
As do
watched
I
her,
now.
yeah, I watched you retype her, and when she was answering the TI questions, and I watched another ESFP video too, and I, yeah, my TI is not that bad,
And if you
so
were an ENFP, instead of answering the TI questions, you'd say, well, it's not really the case that only turtles can eat cheese. There's always another way. Something like that. The thing is, so you also don't think your TI is so strong that you're an INTP, right? Because the thing is, I have trouble with INFPs in general and INTPs because I can't seem to tell what FI is exactly. I can't really see it or recognize it. Then I'm basically stuck with just the, if your TI's off the charts, you're INTP, and if it's not, you're INFP. So
Okay.
where do you think yours is? You've seen me ask these TI questions before.
Um, I I've thought about ISTP before, but
Extroverted intuition's too good.
okay, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the hats question? Have you heard me ask that? Five
The one
hats,
with the
5 hats in a bag. Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. Let me think of some other good TI questions to ask. Okay. Have you have you ever heard me ask a question about Chichi Rodriguez?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can find that. I have to pull that up on screen because you have to look at it because it's a little bit long to do verbally. But it's not a long problem. It's just it's hard to keep track of all the bits of information if I don't show it on the screen. Okay, so let me go to El Docs de Google and open up this thing. And then I will share this screen here. Chrome tab. Have you seen this document before?
No.
Okay, so the question I want, well, there's usually two questions from here that I have people try. One of them is this one here. Well, this isn't the Chichi Rodriguez version, but it's the same question, but not with Chichi Rodriguez. It's with A, B, C, D, E instead. So I'll make it a little bigger. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So during a recent police investigation, Inspector Stone was interviewing 5 local villains to try to identify who stole Mrs. Archer's cake from Midsummer's Fair. It's well known that each suspect told exactly one lie and exactly one truth. Arnold says it wasn't Edward and it was Brian. Brian says it wasn't Charlie and it wasn't Edward. Charlie says it was Edward and it wasn't Arnold. Derek says it was Charlie and it was Brian. Edward says it was Derek and it wasn't Arnold. Who committed the crime?
Okay. Derek?
No, it's Charlie. And the reason it's Charlie is because so Brian says it wasn't Charlie and it wasn't Edward. One of those is true and one of them is a lie. So it's definitely one of those two. Derek says it was Charlie and it was Brian. So it's definitely one of those two. But if Derek is telling the truth about Brian, then Brian doesn't tell a lie. But we know Brian tells one lie, so it must be Charlie.
Okay.
All right, try this question here. 13. Mary has 2 more pencils than Mary has fewer pencils than Rob has. Rob has 14 pencils. There's nothing wrong with the way the sentence is written. You just got it means what it says, but you got to parse that out.
Okay. 2 more pencils than she has fewer pencils than Rob. when to say that she has two more pencils than she has fewer pencils, does it mean that she has the same amount of pencils?
Well, it means one thing you know is that she has fewer pencils than Rob has,
Okay.
and that the amount of pencils she has total is two more than the amount fewer than Rob. So in other words, Rob minus Mary plus two equals Mary.
Uh, um, 7.
It's eight.
Okay.
Because if she has eight pencils, then she has six fewer than Rob has. And she has two more than she has fewer than Rob has. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay,
I get it.
you are an INFP.
Okay.
That's the takeaway from this is you are an INFP.
Okay.
I'm quite certain of it. It's consistent with also this occasional sense I've had throughout the session of being supervised. I'm on my
What
best
does that mean?
behavior. Well, it means when we're done with this session, you're gonna say, "Okay, thanks, appreciate it," and you're gonna go, and then you'll know how you ultimately, what you think about and how you feel about the session later after you've processed it in your own ways in your own time. For an
Mhm.
INTP, that's why we find INFPs so intimidating because
Okay.
by nature, you're not giving me continual FEQs that I can rely on to know whether I'm doing a good job. You're contained. You're accustomed to going through life with your feelings at the top of the stack, and so you're accustomed to being self-protective. And you don't see any reason to be open in an FE because it's ignoring. You autopilot well on it. You're never socially awkward, and so why would you go out of your way to be fake nice to people to make them more comfortable? They shouldn't be made more comfortable by that in the first place. You know, so that's what I mean by feeling supervised. Is
Okay.
like there were moments where like the whole time I was checking to make sure I was on task. I didn't start telling some story for too long.
Okay. I
Because
thought it was because I was sitting in this big authoritative chair
I
that you
didn't. I
saw.
didn't even notice your chair.
Okay.
I didn't even think about what I didn't look for a second until you just said it. I didn't notice at all what your setup is. Sometimes I go that route and I say, "Can you tell me about why you like how much effort you put into setting up before this meeting? Did you arrange it so you'd have a nice backdrop, or did you just sit wherever and oh, it just happens to
Mhm.
look like this?" I didn't ask that this time because I don't know, nothing I guess stuck out enough to me to make me want to ask about the background.
Okay.
It is a good
Um,
chair though.
yeah, it's not mine, but I love it. Um, okay. Um, I thought that I was an INFP before, but I forgot why that I discounted that as an option. Um, but yeah, like I felt like um like I felt like I identified like when I'm say like reading something about INFPs or like watching a video by an INFP about INFPs, like I always feel like um it makes the most sense. And for a little while I thought I was an ISFP, just because I forgot I really don't remember my thought process about that either, but
Probably read some bullshit.
maybe that's what that was. Oh, I couldn't get rid of SE. Like I couldn't discount that because yeah. And INFP having polar SE, it was just like I guess it really didn't make sense to me that I had polar SE.
Let me
Um
let me tell you one way the polar SE plays out.
okay.
If if I ask you about a hypothetical, what would you do in hypothetical? Yeah. Se PoLR plays out as you always need to know a little bit more about it.
Mhm.
Well, it depends. I need to know a little bit more of this, and I mean, it really. That also correlates with countervalued NI. So you are an INFP, but you might not ever particularly be satisfied by any specific type because you think that things like your type is a tool that you use in an ongoing process of personal change and growth and using novelty and stuff.
Yeah.
It's people who have NI in an odd numbered slot tend to be restless with their type because they think, okay, now what am I supposed to use this for? I'm not just supposed to just know it, right?
Yeah.
But for if you have NI in the odd numbered slots, it would be completely unsatisfying to not have a single definitive final answer.
Mhm.
Any tool means SE polar. SE polar means thinking it's fine to never have a clear answer that provides a decision. When you said that you are more likely to commit to something that you regret than miss an opportunity, is because when you don't do anything, you never perceive any opportunities missed.
Mhm.
Whereas when
Yeah.
you do things, you encounter the difficulty of the follow through required from the commitment every time. That's SC polar.
Okay. Okay. Um,
The
I have
thing,
another question.
let me just also say this: that you will give other people NI, but you don't like. You're not gonna like it so much when other people give you NI.
Mhm.
It's like Spacey and INTP. I typed his girlfriend not that long ago. He'd been with her for like a year, and when I asked her what he said she said, "Well, he thinks I'm probably an ISFP." He says, "Well, how could you not have her definitively typed?" Well, it doesn't matter to him if it's in his own life or shit he's spending his own time on. And nobody's hired him. He doesn't feel any need to have the issue resolved.
Yeah.
So, that's second slot any countervalued NI.
Okay. Okay. Um, hmm.
I'd also like to note one other interesting observation I got to make today that I've not really tested before, but
Okay.
it seems like INFPs share the amazing ability of INTPs to memorize things really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I have a really good memory.
When I was working with Spacey, I'd go over a very complicated song a couple of times, and he'd have the whole thing memorized, melody and words. The thing is, that also links to SE Polar, because
Mhm.
what did he hate to do more than anything else? Practice shit once he thought he had it down.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah, that's SE Polar. And it was frustrating because it's like, yes, it's amazing that you have it this down that fast. And yes, it's true. I could get a lot of other people and put them through a shit ton of practice and they just barely get to where you are. But it's still the case that I want you to practice it and it be more what I want it to be, which is NI perfect. And he's
Mhm.
like, oh, yeah, we don't need that.
Exactly. Um, oh, can you do the Inky Pinkies?
Oh right, I forgot. I was going to ask you to. I was going to
I love
skip.
those.
I was actually going to skip giving you ones and ask you to make one up to as an NE test. This is more tougher NE test.
Okay.
Make one that you hadn't
Uh,
thought of before.
uh, okay. A gigantic hog. It's a
Big
Inky
pig,
Pink.
big pig.
Yeah.
The thing is, the fact that you say you love those the hanky pinkies is proof positive. You got to be NE up pretty high. It's amazing how few people can do those, and how
I
many
love
people
those.
just struggle the hell out of them. You know.
Yeah. Some of them stumped me. There was a couple that I couldn't figure out, but then once you said them, it made a lot of sense.
How about this one? A a a child molester of the slums. It's an inky pinky.
Rapist. Was that the first one?
It's a ghetto pedo.
Ghetto pedo. Okay.
It's kind of a cheaty one because pedo is not really the word, and it doesn't really
Okay.
rhyme.
Okay. Okay. Give me another one.
Okay. This is a okay. So this is a delicious treat made from the top part of a shark. It's inky pinky. This is a really hard one too. I'm giving you really hard ones. Sorry.
A yummy. Is that the first one?
No.
Yummy.
A delicious treat. So it's a noun,
Okay.
and the second word's also a noun made out of the top part
Cookie.
of a shark.
Cookie. Ice cream.
No, the word literally means a delicious treat. Generally.
Oh. Delight.
Morsel.
Morsel. I don't know that
It's a
one.
dorsal morsel.
Okay.
It's a morsel made from a dorsal fin of a shark. Okay, so that was another very difficult one. Let me see if I can give you a more regular one. It's like I never remember ones I don't have a stockpile of them because my SI is not nearly as good as third slot. I have to just
Okay.
continually remake them up. So
Okay.
this is somebody who tears up ladies who show their boobs for money.
Say it again.
It's a person who tears up ladies who show their boobs for money.
It's a ripper stripper.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Or a stripper ripper, one of the two.
Stripper ripper.
I mean, I guess
Okay.
it makes more sense as stripper ripper, but grammatically.
Okay.
How about let's see. This is a small fruity M&M. Inky Pinky.
Little Skittle.
Yes. Okay, so I mean, the thing is, if you've seen me ask ISFPs and stuff these questions, they they stumble on the first one I give them, which is sunrise yard. If I think nope, somebody's not going to be is going to have trouble with them, I give start with sunrise yard. Do you know what the answer to that one is? It's the ink pink.
Don Juan.
Right. So most people, even non-eyes, even people with any not polar, really struggle with this. They've struggled with the concept of it even.
Okay.
It's a great NE test as a consequence because it requires quite good NE to come up with them on the spot and or even to answer them.
Okay.
The weird thing is if you think about ISTPs and ISFPs, what they don't do is reach around for random possibilities that aren't correct. So it's like if I say it's it's a rock that whatever they'll go stone. They'll come up with one synonym for it, and then they don't reach around and go well pebble boulder, you know.
Yeah.
So it's quite striking the difference, you know.
Okay. So, do you think there's a possibility that my oh, wait, I guess I don't think. Oh, I thought before that maybe I was an ISFJ because what did I think that? Oh, because I have trouble. First of all, like I differentiating if I'm FE or FI because I'm a nine, so it's like it's hard to know. Um, and then I'm not sure because I think I have strong SI. Like I think like I have pretty good memory.
No, you do, and
Um,
that's typical for third slot. And your SI is best when it comes to the more linguistic aspects of it, because NE is above SI. So that's why you're
okay,
really quickly able to remember like a speech you're trying to memorize, but you'll forget your keys at the supermarket.
okay,
Because one of
yeah,
them is language communication stuff, and one of them is physical world stuff. SE polar means physical world stuff is a nightmare. It's like you probably aren't even, because it's polar and it's blind, you probably don't even have the curse you space objects attitude that I have, which is it's like you just sort of bump into shit and go, well, that's how life is. Just I just bump into shit.
yeah, yeah. Um, like I guess that what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, well, this is something else that's been on my mind, but um, growing up, I was really, I don't know if I was athletic or if I was just like a fast runner, because like it's easy to say that, but yeah, like do you think, oh, and then another thing, the reason that I was typed an ESFP or like even having SC in my top score is because I was when I was on vacation, I didn't know or like I thought I didn't know how to swim, and then like I just got in the ocean, I just started swimming. But then at the same time, like I was on psychedelics, so like I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but yeah,
At least the magic power of swimming.
yeah,
I mean, the thing is, athleticism and SE link very poorly. So
okay,
Spacey, who again is an INTP, he spent years in rowing, being a rower,
hmm,
and so he's cut as fuck.
okay,
He looks like a super athlete guy, but he's still an INTP.
okay,
And like, here's another INTP who visited me in Laverne, Susie, and she and I went on a bike ride. And the thing is, the bike that she was borrowing, which was Kimberly's, it was a little wonky. Like it wasn't exactly it rode fine, but it sort of pulled a little bit to the left. It kind of had a bent rim, and
yeah,
that really threw her for a loop. She complained about that the bike not working properly the whole time we were riding the bike, even though Kimberly managed on it fine. So the thing is, there's this mixed relationship with physicality and INTPs.
okay,
If an INTP is going to be good at something athletically, it's probably going to have a limited number of vectors. So you'd be better at track and field, which has a specific thing you're doing, than you would be at something like football, where you have to move around in space and keep track of all the other bodies in space.
yeah,
So, but the thing is, even if you are an SE Dom, it doesn't necessarily correlate with being good at sports. My daughter's an SE Dom, and she was okay at volleyball, but I mean, she's pretty good, but not good enough to like get a scholarship or anything like that. And she's got kind of a loping, non-feminine walk to her, even though she's very feminine,
yeah,
like looking. Like she likes to put on makeup and stuff like that.
yeah. She's confident.
She just, I don't think she's paying a lot of attention to how her body walking
Oh,
up, appears to others. And that's third slot FE. Third slot FE is very selfish. I care about how I appear to others when I care about how I appear to others and in the ways that I care about it. People
mm-hmm,
often tell me, well, if you dress nicer or cut your beard more or something, you'd be more successful. And I go, but
yeah,
that's not relevant.
yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. So
So
you have no. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I there's a lot of bullshit out there about a lot of functions. So you'll hear SE also be said to link to wanting to look sharp. That's not SE. That's FE. I
Okay.
want to look sharp. It's just I think this is sharp.
Very sharp. I
Yeah,
like it.
I do care about how I look. I just I'm not probably I might be less consistent about it than an SE person. But if you think that if you've heard that SE links to people who want to look sharp, that does not link to that.
Okay. Okay. So, I'm trying to think of when maybe I would have polar SE. I guess I don't know.
You're gonna have a hard time noting it because this is how I describe the polar. Pretend you were deaf to one particular sound, which is a fire engine siren. You'd walk through the world and you'd notice that when a fire engine drives by, a lot of people put their hands over their ears. And you start putting your hands over your ears. And you conclude that this was some sort of ritual that people do. And
Hmm.
until and unless a fire engine drives by that doesn't have its siren on and you put your hands over your ears and people go, "What are you doing?" You're never likely to find out that you're wrong. There's no,
Okay.
because it's not like, the experience of hearing the siren is conveys all the meaning it can convey to you, whether you see the fire engine, whether you see somebody else go like this, or whether you do it yourself. And so you're never going to be in a miscommunicative situation about it usually, unless a fire engine drives by without the siren on, you put your hands over your ears, and then it's revealed, oh, you are SE polar. It's like the thing is, but you're only going to notice that about yourself in that kind of a weird situation. So I'm
Okay.
slowly coming to terms with what it means to be FI polar. For example, I'm spending more time with my daughter than I used to, and it makes me think like, why is it? I love spending time with her. I love seeing her. She's she's just an amazing delight. Why is it that as soon as she drives away, I don't think about her again for like weeks or whatever?
Hmm.
It's just that bipolar, I guess. So
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, the only example I guess I could think of would be, I work with kids, so like when the kids are screaming and stuff, I really don't mind. Like I don't care, but the mom or like and there's another nanny, like they will both be like, "Stop screaming," or like they'll just get really annoyed by it. So do you think that would be an SE polar thing?
well, I'm not sure how good SE polar is at blocking out unwanted stimuli. I don't know. I've never thought about exploring that question before. It's a good question,
Okay.
but the answer is I don't know because I've not thought about it before. I
Okay.
would I would say this that you probably get really angry when somebody tries to leverage you into making a decision right now.
I hate being rushed. I hate it. Yeah, I agree with that. Um, the other day, like I was at a oh, I also I started thinking about something else.
See what any tool is? It's like when you forget, it's not because you forgot what you were going to say. It's because you replaced it with something new.
Yeah, yeah, I do that a lot. Okay, yeah, no. So I was in line for a t-shirt, and the line was going. So did I tell you where I was? I was at a concert, and or a listening party, and we were in. I was in line for a shirt, and the line was going really fast, but the shirt wasn't for me. It was for my brother, and my brother didn't. He wasn't there, so he didn't know what the shirt looked like. So he wanted me to like go up there, and when I got up there to like take a picture of the shirt, send it to him, and like wait to buy the shirt till after he said that I should get it. And when I got up there, like all of the employees were like, "Okay, okay, you're next, you're next." And then my brother was like, "Oh, just send me the shirt." And it was just like a lot of people like
You
trying to
were
get me to do
you were
something at the
holding
same
up
time.
the line. People behind you are hurrying you. People in front of you are telling you hurry up, and or with their body language at least.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds very unpleasant.
yeah, yeah. And so I ended up just like not getting the shirt at all because the guy was look like I don't know, it was just like a lot of stuff going on at the same time, so I just had to go.
Yeah, you withdraw from circumstances that compel you to take undeliberated action. So if being a deliberative type means basically your strategy is you never want to leap before you look.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me as an action type, my strategy is with especially with NE as my dominant function is it's perfectly fine to leap without looking because you can change what you're saying in midair.
Yeah.
But sometimes it gets me in trouble. It's I think it's safer than being an SE person, which is no, I'm literally going to jump over that wall without looking.
Okay. Yeah.
Delilah, she tore her MCL at the beach the other day.
Who's
My
who's
daughter,
Delilah?
Delilah, is my
Okay, the
daughter.
ESTP.
Yeah, she's ESTP and she's 23, I
Okay.
think now, or 22. But
Mhm.
yeah, so she she actually tore her MCL because of indecision. Interestingly, the way she
Okay.
describes it, she was out in the waves and she didn't want to get her hair wet for some reason. Like, why you go in the ocean without wanting to get your hair wet? I don't know, but apparently she didn't want to get her hair wet, so she couldn't decide. But then this wave was coming towards her. She couldn't decide whether to give up on keeping her hair dry and dive into the wave, or to keep trying to keep her hair dry and to try to run away from the wave. And she turned towards it and away from it, charged it and away from it, and then it hit her right as she was in between turning one way. So,
Okay.
so I don't know how that's relevant to anything, but for some reason I told you that story.
Okay. Yeah. Um. Hmm. I don't think I have any other questions.
Okay, cool. I have a question.
Okay.
I'll stop recording this now. I can either share with you privately, and you can either say just keep it private, or you can say I'll decide later whether I want to publish it, or you can tell me right now to publish it.
You can publish it. But oh,
Thank
I do have I do have a question. So you have no doubts about any other type
I am
at all.
I am as certain as I can be about you. You're an INFP.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna stop the recording now, and it'll
Yeah.
be published within an hour.
Okay.
All right.
Um